Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda. This is Django, and we're going to talk about the weekly wrap-up. Django saw me setting up everything to film, and he was like, oh, we're making a video, so he had to join in. First, we're going to talk about what I finished this last week. So the first thing that I finished was Tress of the Emerald Sea. It is The Secret Project #1 by Brandon Sanderson, and I thought that it was fantastic. I started reading it on ebook because I didn't pay the extra tier or whatever to get the audio book. So I started reading it on ebook, and then on release day, where it was released to everybody, I was able to pick it up on Chirp Audio. And so that's where I got it, and I listened to the second half on audio. So I loved it. I got like half of the ebook and half of the audiobook. I thought it was fantastic. If you're not the type of person who likes quirky fantasy with humor bits in there, this might not be the book for you. This is not normal Brandon Sanderson, but at the same time it is. Like, those characters that we love from the rest of the stuff that he writes, like the side characters that are so funny and so cute, that's what this whole thing is to me. And so I just really liked it. I love Tress. I love that she's just like, okay, here's the next step that I need to take, and here's what I'm going to do. And then she does it, and then she's like, okay, here's the next step, and then she goes and does that. And so I thought that it was fantastic, and I gave it 4.5 stars. I highly recommend it. The second one that I finished is called Bloodlines. This is one of the ones I'm reading for the self-published sci-fi competition. This one was the only one that was also on audio. So I listened and read this ebook for this one. This is set in the future, and we have a police detective who is kind of just riding a desk. He's not really detecting anymore, and he gets offered to join the Special Investigations Unit. That's probably not what it's called, but anyway, they do some kind of special investigations, and it turns out they work in like the more magical realm, and they have a case of a woman who's dead and has no blood in her body. So of course everybody's like, it's vampires, and then our guy's like, vampires are not a thing. So we just follow him as he journeys into the other world and things that might be real that he didn't think were real. Then the third book that I finished, and this is while we were visiting Disney World, I finished Assassin's Apprentice. And this is the book that I've been reading with Andrew, and we've just slowly been doing 2 chapters a day, going through the whole book. And I finished this actually late Sunday. It probably was more Monday, but I'm counting it for Sunday because I went to sleep after I finished it. So anyway, this was a reread. We're following Fitz as he's learning that he is the son of the prince, but born on the wrong side of the sheets, as it were. And so he is hated by some, tolerated by some, and loved by only a couple. And it is so cool to see like his journey as he goes through. And we've already jumped into the next book, which is also great. So I just love Fitz, and I hope that I follow him through this whole year and I don't get disappointed by the things that happen. I know that people say they cry in a lot of these books, and so I'm a little bit concerned that more bad things are going to happen to Fitz, because that's pretty much what happened in this book. And then while we were at Disney, I read A Whole New World, which is one of the twisted tales from the Disney collection. So they take Disney movies and say, what if, and then just kind of put a spin on it. So this one is... Yes? Go on. You can't tickle me. Get out. Wesley, I see you with Skeeter back there. Oh my gosh. So this is asking the question, what if Jafar got the lamp instead of Aladdin? So Aladdin still, the first 25% of the book is almost exactly like the movie version. I don't know why I was saying our version, but it's like the movie. But then when he's in the Cave of Wonders and he gets the lamp, he actually gives it to the old guy / Jafar. And then he tumbles down into the Cave of Wonders. And then everything starts being different from there. And so it's kind of like what happens when the people of Agrabah need Jasmine to be more than just the princess. She needs to like take over, and then she's got the street rat Aladdin helping her, and it goes through that whole thing. I thought that it was really cute and really good. Not really something that I would like to continue reading, so I'm not going to keep going with the series just because it is definitely a YA book, and so is the whole series. So I am going to be done, but I liked this book. Aladdin is one of my favorite Disney movies, so it was nice to go back and see everybody in there. Then the last things that I finished was 2 short stories and a graphic novel from Jim Butcher. Now, if you're on the Nerdy Narrative Discord, which I can't link it below, but I will link her channel below, and then you can get from there and find her Discord. But there is a Jim Butcher Dresden Files year-long readathon. Actually, I don't know if it's lasting the whole year, and it's definitely not a readathon, it's a read-along. But anyway, it is everything. Graphic novels, short stories, and regular novels. The whole thing that has to do with Harry Dresden. So I hope by the end of the thing, we will have read all of it. So I just joined in January because I had already read Stormfront, which is the first novel. And I read that last year. And so I didn't read anymore after that. And so I went and looked at their list and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. So from the library, I got the short stories, and from Kindle Unlimited, I got the graphic novel on ebook. And so I read both short stories and the graphic novel. And I read them all in one day. The short stories took about 30 minutes each to read. One of them was a little bit longer than the other, but one of them is called A Fistful of Demons, and it had Wyatt Earp in it. Like, it was set way far in the past in Dodge City, and this hunter, she's not called a hunter. I don't remember what they're called. I'm brand new to the Dresden world, so I don't remember what they're called, but she's there, a demon hunter, but that's not what she's called. But anyway, there's 4 demons in town, or maybe even more than that. I don't know. There's a fistful of demons, since that's what it's called. And the sheriff is Wyatt Earp, and so we get to see him. I thought it was so cute the way he wrote him, and he said he had some ideas for like continuing that era in time, and I think that would be really cool if he ever did that. I don't know if he did that because I'm brand new, but I don't think he's done it yet, or we would have been reading those, I guess. Anyway, the graphic novel is set right before Stormfront. So I read the little blurb at the beginning where Jim Butcher talks about how he got started in the graphic novel and how he grew up with comic books and all kinds of stuff about it. It was very interesting. And then this graphic novel is called Welcome to the Jungle. It's set at the Chicago Zoo, and the animals appear to be killing somebody, or somebody got killed, and Dresden Harry is trying to say that the gorilla Mo did not do it, and he's trying to explain why, and he is now working as a consultant for the Chicago police, their special investigations, and so he works with them as a consultant to solve like magical crime kind of things. So this one was great as far as like an introduction goes. You get to meet Harry and the surrounding players, and you get to know a lot about him and the choices that he makes, which led perfectly into what I'm reading now, which is Stormfront, and that is book number 1 for the Dresden Files, and I'm reading that along with everybody else for January. So that's one of the currently reading. I'm also still reading Hammer and Crucible. This is an ebook from the self-published sci-fi competition, and I'm going to finish this one in the next couple of days. We actually have 5 days to be done with all of our books and have our votes in. So I've got this one and one more to finish, and I have 5 days. So I think I'll be able to do it. I'm working on it. Then I started, just yesterday, The Extremely Inconvenient Adventures of Bronte Meadowstone. And this is a 12-year-old telling the adventure of how her parents left her to live with her aunt, and then her parents died. And part of their will says that Bronte has to go visit all 10 of her aunts. Her dad had 10 sisters, and she has to go visit all 10 of them and take them a gift from her parents. But it's very specific. Like, she's supposed to walk on the beach at a certain day, and she needs to squeeze her own orange juice from an orange that she picked from a tree in the orchard. Like, it's very specific, the things that she has to do. So I'm really excited to like see how all of this comes down. She's only 10 years old at this point, which her aunt that she's living with kept saying, like, she's not old enough to go do this, but she had to. So this is what is happening in this book, and I think I'm really going to like it. Also, like I said, I'm moving right in after Assassin's Apprentice. We're now reading Royal Assassin, and this one we're going even slower since Assassin's Apprentice was a reread. We were reading 2 chapters a day, but now for the whole rest of all of the books about Fitz, we're only reading 1 chapter a day. And so we're only on chapter 3 today, and that is as far as we've gotten. So we're slowly moving through Royal Assassin. That will probably pop up multiple times as I'm doing these weekly updates. The other book that I started is The Night Parade by Ronald Malfi. I knew nothing about this book. One of my book club friends picked this for us to read, and so she didn't really know anything about it either, but we've read 5 chapters so far, and it seems very mysterious. We have a man and his daughter who are in a car, apparently fleeing from something. We don't know why. We know that, well, we don't know, but I think that his wife has died. He's not saying anything to his daughter about it, and right now they're staying in a random hotel, and they're on the run. That is all I know about it through the first 5 chapters. So we're just going to see what happens. I want to know where the name, The Night Parade, comes in, but I guess we'll find out. Finally, the other book that I am currently reading is still A Game of Thrones. I have moved further along in my little tabs and as I've been going through, but I'm still reading it. I'm going to keep showing you every week that I'm still reading Game of Thrones. What is coming up next? Honestly, I don't know. I mean, you see all the books that I'm currently reading, and all I know is at some point this month, I need to read Gwendy's Button Box by Stephen King and Richard Chizmar. This is book 1 of the Gwendy trilogy, and this is for Amy's A-Star Reads viewer prompt. She picked Family Pick, and so my son and his girlfriend picked this book for me. They were visiting during Christmas, and they picked this book. So I'm going to be reading this at some point in January for Amy's viewer prompt. It's really short. I'm not worried about finishing it. I still have practically half a month to read it. So that's it. I think that's what I'm going to start on next when I finish my next ebook. I'm going to start this physically, and hopefully I'll be done with that next week. I don't know. We'll see when I get here. I have a very quick book haul that I want to talk to you about. First of all, because I have been Book of the Month subscriber for a year, I got a Book of the Month tote bag for being a best friend, they call it. And it has this little pocket over here and literally says book pocket. Your Book of the Month book will like fit in this book pocket. It's really cute. So speaking of Book of the Month, I got Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. Now the bad news about this is that this is book 2 and I have not read book 1 yet, but I have it. I own it, and I will be getting to it because I really want to read this book. Also, if you were here before when I did a haul, you saw that I had Heartstopper Volume 2, and I told you that my parents got Volume 1 at their house. Well, they just got here and brought it for me. And I told you that I ordered 3 of the Wayward Children series. I'm pretty sure it's called Wayward Children. Yes, the Wayward Children series. And I told you I ordered 3, but only 2 came in, so now the 3rd book arrived. I'm going to leave a link down below to a video that I watched from Sandy at Miss Reads a Lot, and she is going through the year reading some nonfiction books about our bodies and dieting culture and all of that stuff. And so I got 4 of the books that she talked about, and she and I are going to be buddy reading all of them throughout the rest of the year, or at least until we run out of books. So we are starting with the Effort Diet, which I have on ebook, so I'll just put a picture of it up here. That's what we're going to be reading in February. And then in March, we're reading this, The Body Is Not an Apology. And I'm excited to get to this one. It's also a short book. And then at some point through the year, we're going to be reading Fat Girls Hiking by Summer Michaud Skog. I didn't say either, but this one is by Sonia Renee Taylor. And so we're going to be reading this at some point. And then there are a few other books. So go watch her video down below if any of those sound interesting to you. And she goes into more depth about what each of the books are about and more stuff about them. And I'll talk about them more as we start reading them. Finally, the last thing I have in my haul is gifted books. I don't know that I'm going to call them gifted really, because what happened was I had a friend come visit and she walked into my room here and she saw all the Book of the Month books over here and she said, "You do Book of the Month too?" "I do too." And she said, "I don't feel as bad about it because you have a lot more books than I do." So what we decided was we would share our Book of the Month books. So she sent me 2 of them that she's already finished. This is The Last Party by Claire McIntosh and The Golden Couple by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Buchanan. I'm not sure how you say it, but these 2 were mailed to me from my friend, and I am sending her The Night She Disappeared and the Book of Cold Cases. So we're just trading. We're going to do 2 books at a time. When we finish those 2, I've already told her I don't necessarily need them back. I'm just going to put her books on my shelf. She said she doesn't need them back either, so that's what we're going to do. I guess my Book of the Month shelf is going to look a lot different when I start switching books out, but that's exciting to me. I can't wait to do that. Okay, the next thing. I spent the weekend in Disney World down in Orlando, and I only got to go to 2 of the parks because I was trying not to kill ourselves and try to not to do too much, and we only had 2 days. So 2 parks, 2 days. If you care about that at all, I will put a ton of pictures and videos up at the end of this video, and you can just enjoy or not, whatever you want to do. But these are the Mickey Mouse ears that I got, and I'm so excited about it. Okay, and I have a question. If you read audiobooks, what do you do while you're reading audiobooks? And I don't want you to say something boring like you do chores or wash dishes. I want to know cool answers. Like, are you putting together a puzzle? Are you coloring something? Are you drawing? Are you painting? Are you crocheting or knitting? Or, I don't know, something I haven't heard of. What do you do while you listen to audiobooks? I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.
The line was out here right now.